الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبعد. Inshallah, we'll have time for questions and answers. We'll have a short class first. إخواني في الله, tonight or today, after Asr today, we're talking about the voluntary fast. We are continuing the book of Siyam. There's some fasts where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it voluntary to fast. And this is something to come closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. So what are these fasts that are voluntary for you as a Muslim to fast? What are the fasts that you're disliked as a Muslim to fast? And what are the fasts that are haram for you as a Muslim to fast? This is our topic for today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefit all of us in it. The Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, he says, Man sama yawman fi sabilillah ba'da wajhahu anin nari sab'ina kharifa. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he says, whoever fasts 70 years, whoever fasts, man sama yawman fi sabilillah, whoever fasts one day for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep their face from the hellfire a distance of 70 years. The one who fasts a voluntary fast, ikhwani fillah, on the day of judgment, he shall be called from a special gate, the gate of Ar-Rayyan. And this is only the people who fast who will be entering through this gate. Ikhwani fillah, a question we mentioned previously, on the day of judgment, the people of Jannah have 8 gates. There's a gate of Salah for the people of Salah. There's a gate of Sadaqah for the people of Sadaqah. And there's a gate of Sawm, or the gate of Rayyan, for the people of fasting. The gate of Salah is known as the gate of Salah. The gate of Sadaqah is known as the gate of Sadaqah. But the gate of fasting is not known as the gate of fasting, it is known as the gate of Ar-Rayyan. Why did the gate of Jannah change when it came to the issue of fasting? Have you understood the question? The Salah, the gate is called Salah. Sadaqah, you enter through the gate of Sadaqah. But for Sawm, you do not enter through the gate of Sawm, you enter through the gate of Ar-Rayyan. Why do you not enter from the gate of Sawm, you enter through the gate of Ar-Rayyan? Ikhwani fillah, because Sawm has the meaning of denying yourself. Have you come to Jannah not to eat, not to drink, not to be with your wife? Is that the reason of Jannah? So the gate of Jannah has to have a meaning that is applicable to you. Ar-Rayyan, the Arabic language, means to quench your thirst so that you are never thirsty again. So this is one of the virtues of fasting, a voluntary fast. When are you supposed to have the intention with regards to a fast that is voluntary? For the wajib fast, you have to have your intention from the night. Otherwise, your wajib fast will not be accepted. As for the voluntary fast, you can have your intention any time of the day. You can wake up at 12 o'clock, you see your house, the wife has not made anything, and you can fast. So the voluntary fast, you can fast any time. You can put the niyyah any time. What are the types of voluntary fasts? Inshallah, I'm seeing questions coming. You can send your questions, inshallah. What are the type of voluntary fasts? There are voluntary fasts that you can fast any time for no reason. And there are fasts that you have to fast for a reason. Voluntary fast that you can fast any time. The Prophet ﷺ, one day he is in the mosque. He asks the Sahaba, Man asbaha minkum al-yawma sa'iman. Who amongst you woke up on this day fasting? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, he says, I woke up. So you can fast any time of the year, any day, as long as it's not a day that is prohibited. Then there's some fasts that has a reason. It has a reason. Then these ones are divided, reasons that are monthly in nature, or yearly in nature, or weekly in nature. There are some fasts that you fast every week. There are some fasts that you fast every month. There are some fasts you fast during some periods of the year. The first one we're taking is regards to the fasting, the 6 days of Shawwal. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, من صام رمضان ثم أتبعه بست من شوال فكأنما صام الدهر. Whoever fasts Ramadan then follows it up with the 6 days of Shawwal, it is as if they have fasted the entire year. Ramadan is 30 days. 30 days times 10, you get 300. It's equivalent to 300 days. Then the 6 days times 10, each good deed is multiplied by 10, you get another 60. So 360 days is equivalent to 1 year. Type. Question comes. I have days I have not fasted in Ramadan. The brothers, maybe they were sick, maybe they traveled. The sisters, on top of this, maybe they had their periods or they had their postnatal bleeding. They did not fast some days in Ramadan. So Shawwal has come. What should she do? Should she or he pay for the days that they've missed in Ramadan or the days of Shawwal? Understood the question? Do you fast the 6 days of Shawwal first or do you pay your Ramadan? Who says 6 days of Shawwal? Because Sunnah, wajib. You keep wajib before Sunnah. Who says 6 days of Shawwal? Who says you do Ramadan first and Shawwal? Type. Ikhwani fillah, you take a balance. Usually, it is important for you to fast wajib over Sunnah. Your time in this world is also limited. You don't know when you're able to fast. So make sure you fast your days of Ramadan as soon as possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. That you miss some days, then you're able to. However, ikhwani fillah, also this Shawwal is limited in terms of the number of days. So if you're seeing the Shawwal is finishing and your 6 days have not fasted, of course you cannot fast the 6 days of Shawwal in Dhul Qa'dah or Dhul Hijjah. So try to fast the obligatory fast that owe to you, then the Sunnah fast if possible. If not possible, then fast your 6 days of Shawwal, then you fast your Ramadan. Type. The next question, can you combine the intention that I am fasting this day of Shawwal with the intention of Shawwal and the intention of paying back my Sawm? Understood the question? Can you have the niyyah of al-qada li Ramadan, that you're paying back the days of Ramadan, and also you're getting the 6 days of Shawwal? No, you cannot combine those two intentions. You cannot combine those two intentions. The 6 days of Shawwal has a reason. The paying of Ramadan has a reason. You cannot combine two reasons in the same ibadah. We shall talk more about this. So this is the first fast. That is Sunnah that we're talking about, the 6 days of Shawwal. The second we're talking about is the 8 days of Dhul Hijjah. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, ما من أيام العمل الصالح فيهن أحب إلى الله من هذه الأيام العشر. There's no days where any good deed is best than the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. The best days of the year are the days of Dhul Hijjah, and the best nights are the last 10 nights of Ramadan. The best days are the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, and the best nights are the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Time. From amongst the good deeds that you can definitely do is fasting. Fasting is a good deed. So you can fast it within the first 8 days of Dhul Hijjah. That is a sunnah fast for you to fast also. The 9th day of Dhul Hijjah also has a special reason that you should fast. If you're a person who is not in Hajj. If you're a person not in Hajj, you should fast the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah, because that is the day of Arafah. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, أحتسب على الله أن يكفر السنة التي قبله والسنة التي بعده. I hope from Allah Azza wa Jal that fasting this day of Arafah will expiate, will remove the sins of the previous year and the upcoming year. And this is for the person who is not in Hajj. If you're in Hajj, it is disliked for you to fast the day of Arafah. Taib, question. And it's an issue of controversy, but there should be no controversy. How is it possible, Khani Fillah, that people are standing in Arafah, in Mecca, they're performing the ibadah or the day of Arafah, yet you here in Kenya, you say, my Arafah is not today, my Arafah is tomorrow. How is that possible? Maybe you can explain yourself well with having a difference of local moon and international moon when it comes to Ramadan. But when it comes to Arafah, you should fast while the people are standing on the Mount of Arafah. You should fast while the people are standing on the Mount of Arafah. The next Sawm that is also beloved, Ikhwani Fillah, is fasting the month of Muharram. Muharram, the Prophet ﷺ says, أفضل الصيام بعد رمضان صيام الشهر الله المحرم. Rawah Muslim. He says that the best fast for you, O Muslim, to fast after this month of Ramadan is which month? The month of Muharram. طيب. Fasting the day of Ashura, the 10th of Muharram. It is also recommended, Ikhwani Fillah, that we fast the 10th of Muharram. That is a voluntary fast. The Prophet ﷺ says, if I'm alive next year, I will also fast the 9th. So the best thing, Ikhwani Fillah, with regards to Ashura is to either fast day 9 and 10 or day 10 and 11. The second option, fasting only day 10. As for the opinion that says fast day 9, 10 and 11, that is a weak opinion because the hadith is not authentic. The hadith is not authentic. Yes, some great scholars like Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah and Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani have mentioned that you should fast the 3 days, but this is not authentic. So you should fast 9 and 10 is the best, in all honesty. Type. Fasting, which month? The majority. Question, which month was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam fasting most of it? Except Ramadan. Sha'ban. Mumtaz. So the Prophet ﷺ from the Sunnah is to fast most of the month of Sha'ban. Question, is it allowed for you as a Muslim to specifically fast the 15th day of Sha'ban because of the hadiths that are narrated regarding the 15th of Sha'ban? Is it good, or is it from the list that you have here of the voluntary fasts to fast the 15th of Sha'ban? Almost every single hadith with regards to the 15th of Sha'ban is a weak or fabricated hadith. You taking the 9th of, or the day of 15th for fasting and the 9th of 15th to fast, that is an innovation. That hadith is not authentic. When it reaches the 15th, Ikhwani Fillah, you should stop fasting, the voluntary fasts, if it was not your regular habit to fast them. But if it's a regular habit, continuing with the way that you used to fast before. The next fast, Ikhwani Fillah, is fasting the day of Monday and Thursday. This is a weekly fast. And this is when our deeds are presented to Allah Azza wa Jal. The Prophet ﷺ was asked, why do you fast these days? He says, these are the days my deeds are presented to Allah Azza wa Jal, and I love for my deeds to be presented to Allah Azza wa Jal while I'm fasting. Fasting 3 days every month. The Prophet ﷺ, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he says, Awsani Khalili bithalath. My best friend, the Prophet ﷺ, advised me to do 3 things. And this advice you should all take. Advice number 1 is that you pray the Salatul Duha. Advice number 2 that the Prophet gave Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu is that you do not sleep until you have prayed your witri prayer. And advice number 3 is that you fast 3 days in every month. Choose any 3 days. It is not a must for you to follow 13, 14, 15. Fast any 3 days. If you wish, you can fast the white days, which is day 13, 14, 15 of the month. Question, why is it called the white days? Inshallah, tuuliza swali baadaye. Why is it called the white days? Why is it called Ayamul Bid? Why are the white days called the white days? Sheikh, there's maybe 500 people in the mosque. I think someone can answer. Hamza now. The moon is white. Type. He's correct. The moon is at its brightest or its fullest in the middle of the month. The moon at the beginning of the month gets born. It continues adding in size. It becomes fullest in the middle of the month. Then it starts reducing until it becomes small again. Are you together? So the moon is at its fullest at this time. This is also a time for you to fast. It's recommended for you to fast. Also another sunnah, Ikhwani Fillah, is the best fast of Sunnah? Which is the best fast of Sunnah? Or which prophet? Which prophet had the best system of fasting of all the prophets of Allah Azza wa Jal? The Prophet Dawud alayhi salam. كَانَ يَصُومُ يَوْمًا وَيُفْطِرُ يَوْمًا. Fasting one day and living one day. So after Ramadan, alhamdulillah, our bodies are used to it. Let us try that challenge on the 2nd of Shawwal or 3rd of Shawwal. Start fasting one day and live one day. It's possible to have trained our bodies also. For benefit, ikhwani fillah, it is good, yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Sari'u. Allah says, Sabiqu. But it is recommended, do not rush so much with regards to starting your 6 days of Shawwal. Shawwal, Eid was yesterday, you're starting your Shawwal today, it's okay, no harm. But better to delay it a little bit. Why? Yet the Quran says, Sabiqu, Sari'u. Sheikh, you're conflicting the Quran. What's the answer? Why should you delay your Shawwal at least a few days after the Eid? Because you have families, you have friends, you have companions, you have neighbors to visit. Are you together? And you go to visit your neighbor or your relative on the 2nd day of Shawwal and they bring for you something and you say you're fasting. Just for their hearts, do not fast. Start your fast about 3 days, 4 days after. But you know yourself better. If you know that if I don't fast from day 2, I will not be able to fast, then fast. But the best way is wait a little bit more so that you fast thereafter. That is just for benefit. So option number 1, you can fast one day and live another day. Another option, and this is a sunnah that most people do not know, is that you can fast one day and break your fast for 2 days. Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhuma, one of the Abadila, he used to fast every single day and pray the night prayer every night, the entire night. The Prophet ﷺ says to him, you should fast 10 days in a month. He says, I'm able to do more. He says, fast 7 days. He says, I'm able to do more. He says, fast 3 days and do not add, fast 1 day and break your fast 2 days. He says, I'm able to do more than that. He says, then the best for you is to fast the Psalm of Dawood. 1 day you fast and 1 day you break your fast. Do not fast every single day. So from the hadith, it's mentioned clearly that another sunnah you can do is fast 1 day and you eat 2 days. So in a month you fast how many days? In a month it has 30 days. If you fast 1 day and you break 2 days, in that month you'll have fasted how many days? 10 days. You'll have fasted 10 days, a third of the month, and you'll have broken your fast 2/3 of the month. That is also a sunnah fast that you can fast. What is the ruling of someone who fasts every single day apart from the days that is haram to fast? You have many scholars in Islamic history. You have someone like Imam Abu Zakaria, Yahya ibn Sharaf al-Nawawi rahimahullah. He used to fast every single day. You have one of the scholars in our century is called Fuad ibn Abdul Baqi, the one who compiled the Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari and published it, the first one who published it. He used to fast every single day. This is not correct. Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said to Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, the one who fasts every day, it's as if they have not fasted anything at all. So it's not allowed for you to fast every single day, because that will change from an act of ibadah, it will become aada. It will become like something that you have cultured yourself or you're used to. So do not fast every single day. Fast some days, and some days you eat. Also, if you're in Hajj, the day of Arafah, do not fast. It is disliked for you to fast on the day of Arafah. So number 1, disliked for you to fast every single day. Number 2, it's also disliked for you to fast on the day of Arafah. Number 3, to fast on Friday is also disliked. That is the Eid of the week. It is disliked for you to fast on Friday unless you fasted the day before or the day after. Or it was your timetable of fasting one day and breaking your fast another day. Definitely it will fall on a Friday. Then you can fast therein. For example, if you fast one day and break your fast every day, you fasted Monday, then Wednesday, of course you'll have to fast which day? You fasted Monday, Wednesday, of course, you'll fast what day? Friday, then Sunday, then Tuesday, then Thursday. Of course, from one of these days, it will be a Friday. But you specifying yourself that you're going to fast on Friday, that is not allowed. Also fasting Saturday, according to the scholars, they say also fasting Saturday by itself is disliked. However, some of the scholars even went a step ahead and said, even if it is Ashura or Arafah, fasting on a Saturday is not allowed. This opinion is a weak opinion. Although it's the opinion of Sheikh Muhammad Nasruddin al-Albani, it is a very weak opinion that the scholars rejected. So if Saturday is the day of Arafah or is the day of Ashura, you fast it. Don't listen to some people, they don't know how to understand fiqh and they spread this knowledge. That's not beneficial knowledge. If it's a Saturday and it's Ashura or Arafah, you're not fasting because it's a Saturday, you're fasting because it is Ashura or Arafah. Type. Prophet ﷺ one day entered the house of Juwayriyah, his wife, radiallahu anha, and he found her fasting. Said, why are you fasting on a Friday? Did you fast yesterday? Are you intending to fast tomorrow? She said, no. Then he said, you cannot fast a Friday by itself. You cannot fast a Friday by itself. Also disliked, Ikhwani fillah, is fasting the month of Rajab by itself. Fasting the month of Rajab by itself, or fasting the 27th day of Rajab, that is said or claimed to be the day of Isra Mi'raj, that is an innovation. The people of Jahiliyyah, they used to respect Rajab a lot and fast and make a lot of ibadah in Rajab. So some Muslims, when they became Muslim, they took over these habits that they had from Jahiliyyah and they used to fast the month of Rajab. Also this is disliked. Which fasts are haram for you as a Muslim to fast? It is haram for you to fast the days of Eid. Eid al-Fitri and Eid al-Adha. It's haram for you to fast. There's no khilaf amongst the Muslims with regards to this issue. Also, it's haram for you to fast day 11, day 12, and day 13 of the Hijjah. These are known as Ayamu at-Tashriq. You're not allowed as a Muslim to fast day 11, day 12, day 13 of the Hijjah. Those are the days of Eid, the days of eating and drinking, except for one person. Who is this one person who is allowed to fast, or one group of people who are allowed to fast day 11, day 12, and day 13 based on evidence from the Quran of Allah Azza wa Jal? Who is allowed to fast day 11, day 12, day 13 of the Hijjah? Naam. The person? The person is Hajj. And they have not found what? They have not found a sacrificial animal. So, ثلاثة أيام في الحج وسبعة إذا رجعتم تلك عشرة كاملة. The person who has not found a sacrificial animal in Hajj and they have made the niyyah of slaughtering, they are not able to find a sacrificial animal. They are supposed to fast 3 days in Hajj. Day 11, 12, 13 they can fast. وَسَبْعَةٍ إِذَا رَجَعْتُمْ, and 7 days when they go back to their family. تِلْكَ عَشَرَةٌ كَامِلَةٌ. Those are 10 days that they can fast. So it's haram for you as a Muslim to fast the days of Tashriq, except if you're a person in this state. طيب, يوم الشك, fasting the day of doubt. The day of doubt is which day? We mentioned this before. Not Ramadan. Which is the day of shak? What is the day of shak? Conflict of sight in the moon. What day? What's the date on the calendar? The day of shak. The 30th of Sha'ban. Someone wakes up on the 30th of Sha'ban and says, maybe they saw the moon, maybe I don't know, maybe they're not sure, let me just fast it as Ramadan just in case. It is haram for you to fast without having seen the moon. So fasting the 30th of Sha'ban without seeing the moon just because you want to be safe is haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهَرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Whoever witnesses the moon, then they should fast. You have not witnessed the moon. Why are you fasting? The Prophet ﷺ says, "Sumu li ru'yati wa aftiru li ru'yati." You should fast when you see the moon, and you should break the fast when you see the moon. Type. The second question, also related to this issue we've talked before. The adhan right now of Maghrib is 6:42, for example, or 6:41. You find some mosques, they will delay the adhan to 6:50 or 6:55. Type. Why do you delay? Says just in case the sun has not set. Ikhwani fillah, the sun is not a creation that has moods. That today it decides to set at 6:41, tomorrow it decides to set at 6:45. It is something that you can view. Are you together? The sun has no variations with regards to that. So follow the time of the adhan, do not delay the adhan. And this issue, Ikhwanifillah, has a lot of effect that needs to be studied also. We have sisters, Ikhwanifillah, who get their periods 2 minutes before the adhan, 3 minutes before the adhan, 5 minutes before the adhan. You know this, most of you. The wife comes or the sister or someone tells you, I've gotten my periods. Before the adhan. You ask them, which adhan? Is it the adhan of Masjid Salam or is it the adhan of that other mosque? The mosque that delays 10 minutes or 15 minutes the adhan. If it's the adhan of Masjid Salam, then your som, you have to repeat that day. Your reward is Allah Azza wa Jal. You got your periods before the time of iftar. But if you got 3 minutes before that other mosque that delays the adhan for 10 minutes, that's a different story. Your fast is authentic. Are you together? This affects other issues, zakatul fitri. So many issues related to this. This is also haram for you, Ikhwanifillah, to fast the day of Shak. And finally, the lady who fasts without the permission of her husband, the voluntary fast. A lady must ask the husband for permission before she fasts her voluntary fast. Why? Obviously, all of you are married. Many of you are married. Why should the lady ask? Because you do not want to lose the husband's rights upon her. The husband has rights over her with regards to her being his cloth and him be the cloth. Let's talk in metaphors today. طيب. لباس لكم وأنتم لباس لهن. طيب. So you as a lady, when you fast, you're denying your husband this right. So you must ask your husband for permission before you fast your voluntary fast. However, if it is a voluntary fast that has a reason, like the day of Arafah, Ashura, it is understandable or it's expected that the husband will know that you're fasting that day. However, if the husband wants you when you're fasting, you should break your fast and surrender to his needs or his desires, so that he does not fall to haram. The same way he calls you to the bedroom at any time at night is the same way he calls you at any time of the day. As long as you're not in Ramadan, as long as you're not in Hajj, you should always go to your husband and you should fulfill his desires. So it's a must for a lady to ask for permission before she fasts any voluntary fasts. So Ikhwani Fillah, with this we end our lecture regarding the fasts that are voluntary for you as a Muslim to fast, the fasts that are disliked for you as a Muslim to fast, and the fasts that are prohibited for you as a Muslim to fast. Inshallah, if there are any questions, we shall answer. We'll give a time limit of 15-20 minutes. Then we can give the brothers time to continue with their Quran, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us our siyam, our qiyam, our tilawa and all our ibadah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Ulkuna swali, naam. Salatul duha, ikhwan fillah, you can pray it any time, 20 minutes after sunset, after sunrise. It starts from the time of Ishraq. Salatul Ishraq is also Salatul Duha. Salatul Ishraq is one of the types of Salatul Duha. So a mistake people do, they wait for the sun to rise, then they start praying the Sunnah. You should wait for the sun to rise, then 20 minutes after is when you start, or 15 minutes after, you can start praying Salatul Duha. So that is the beginning time. The end time is the time of Zawal, when the sun is in the middle of the heaven, of the sky. It's usually about 12 noon, but that's not exact. So this is the time of Salatul Duha. Of course, the best time is the middle of it, about 10 a.m., when the heat is most intense, and that, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah knows best. Another question? Yes, the Prophet ﷺ fasted only the 10th. However, his intention was, he said clearly in year 10 of the Hijra calendar, he said it clearly in year 11. He said it clearly in year 11. If I'm alive next year, I shall fast the 9th and the 10th. So the Prophet ﷺ, yes, he fasted day 10, but he had that intention that next year he'll fast day 9 and day 10 to go different from the Jews. Because also the Jews, they hold this day in great honor. It is the day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved the Bani Israel from Fir'aun. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save also our brothers in Gaza from the Fir'aun that is there currently. So you fast day 9 and day 10. There's no harm. Hakuna shida. There's no problem. But better 9 and 10. Unaweza futuru na msikiti yoyote ambayo inafuata time exact. Hata kama adhan ni adhan. If you're sure that the adhan has been given at the correct time, you can break your fast. You can also break your fast if the adhan has not been given, if that mosque is delaying the adhan. Are you together? The same way for suhoor also. The suhoor ends with the adhan of Fajr. The suhoor ends with the adhan of Fajr, not 15 minutes before the adhan. This is a bid'ah, it's an innovation. So the adhan has been given. What time is the adhan right now? 5:20, 5:21? 5:20, 5:21. That is the end of suhoor. You find some other mosques will delay the adhan up to 5:30. Do not eat until 5:30. Some other mosques will tell you with the timetables, some other timetables will tell you you stop 15 minutes or 20 minutes. No. The suhoor ends with the adhan of Fajr. The iftar starts with the adhan of Maghrib, and that adhan has to be given at the correct times. You as the muaddin, it is an amana, it's a trust upon you. Now, any other questions from the right? No. Is there any evidence of using Saudi's moon sighting in fasting? Politics type. Ikhwani fillah, there's a difference of scholars with regards to the issue of moon sighting. There's an international moon. Some scholars say you follow the international sighting. Wherever the moon is seen anywhere, be it Saudi or Egypt or Kenya, every Muslim in the world should follow that moon sighting. And there are some scholars, they say you follow the sighting of your local area. So both opinions are there. We should not have this khilaf. Type. However, an interesting question that occurred to us during this Ramadan. Elon Musk, one of the richest people, he says that we're going to Mars in the next 15, 20 years. Type. Question. When you have gone to Mars, which moon sighting are you going to follow? Are you going to follow the moon sighting of Mars? Or are you going to follow the moon sighting that all the Muslims are following? It's clear, if this issue, when it comes, the scholars inshallah will change their opinion. That we as Muslims, regardless of where we are, we should follow one moon sighting. Wherever you are, you should follow one moon sighting. If you're in the moon, follow the moon sighting of the people of Earth. If you're on Mars, follow the moon sighting of the people of Earth. We do not follow Saudi because it's Saudi or we have any relation to it. We follow an international moon or a local moon sighting. The next question that they're asking, what will one do for the many months that they were baligh and they did not fast? Type. For you to have reached, for fast to be obligatory for you, from amongst the conditions is you have to have reached the stage of puberty. Puberty is known with a number of things. Number one, you have a wet dream as a boy. You have to start fasting from the day after. During the day, today for example, you have a wet dream. From tomorrow, Sawm is obligatory upon you. You have not fasted for whatever reason. All those days, try and estimate how much it is and fast. Every Monday and Thursday when you're fasting, keep an intention that you're fasting for those days that you did not fast. So this is the first way of knowing someone has reached puberty. The second way of knowing someone has reached puberty is that they grow hair on their private parts. So if you have hair grown on your private parts, it is obligatory for you to start your fasting. The third way for you to know that you have reached the stage of puberty is for you to reach the age of 15. The mistake majority of Muslims do is that they follow the Christian calendar and not the Muslim calendar. Your age is what the Hijri calendar says. So you're 15 based on the Hijri calendar, not the Christian calendar. If you want to follow the Christian calendar, then it's wajib for you to start fasting when you're 14 and a half years old. If you have not had these other two signs. If you have not had these other two signs, you wait until you've reached 15, on the Hijri calendar, not the Christian calendar. So many of you brothers in the mosque right now, you are cheating in your age. Most of you are 1 year older than you truly are in terms of benefit, inshallah. Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ وَبَلَغَ أَرْبَعِينَ سَنَةً, until you have reached the age of 40. When do you reach the age of 40? Based on which calendar? The Islamic calendar, the Hijri calendar that starts from Muharram to Dhul Hijjah. The fourth way that you know that you have reached bulugh, you have reached puberty, is for the girls. They get something known as their periods. So she gets her periods. Periods usually last for 6 to 7 days. When she takes her bath, Sawm becomes obligatory upon her. Question: how young is the youngest a girl can be when she gets her periods? 25, 12, higher, 8, higher, 9. The youngest she can be is 9. If she gets blood before this, it is not considered to be her periods. So imagine a girl who's 9 years of age, Sawm becomes obligatory upon her. She started fasting when she was 15 or 18. 15 minus 9 is 6 years, plus that 9, that's 7 years. That's mathematically, you have to not count. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Don't say 15 minus 9 is 6, it's actually 7. You have to count the first year also. So she has to fast those 7 years that she missed. 7 years times 30 is 210 days of fasting that's due upon her. The next question is it allowed for me to go with my mom to Hajj as a mahram? For the sisters, for you to travel, you must go with a mahram. However, the madhab of Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah has a small interesting thing. It allows you to travel with other women as long as one of those women has a mahram. Are you together? You should never travel as a sister without a mahram. The mahram is there for your protection and your security and your safety. So you want to travel for Hajj, you don't have a mahram, travel with other sisters, but one of those sisters must have a mahram. A brother is asking, a wife has left the husband and went with another man without being divorced. Does she have the right to be given her mahar upon dissolution of the existing legal marriage? With regards to marriage, divorce, inheritance, issues of blood, it is always best to go to the qadis. You have to go to the qadis, they listen to both sides. This is an issue that is affecting two parties. It is not fair for you as a sheikh to listen to one side and not hear from the other side. So there's a difference, subhanallah, between fatwa and qada. Fatwa, we're just giving general rulings, Islamic rulings. But when it comes to something that's specifically affecting you with regards to marriage or divorce or inheritance or issue of revenge or blood, you have to go to the judge. The judge has witnesses, he has evidences to ask for, he has a lot of procedures to do. So why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refer to himself as us, yet he is only one? Allah says, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. We revealed it on the night of Laylatul Qadr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to himself sometimes as us. There's two types in the Arabic language. There is us with regards to number, and there is us with regards to glory and majesty. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can refer to himself in the plural sense in the terms of majesty and his glory. It is not meaning that we have many, more than one God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can refer to himself. Even the kings, they say, we have decided as our government to implement this policy. We is him himself as the king who has decided that policy. So you as a king or a leader from majesty, you can refer to yourself in the plural sense. Says, can you use the adhan on the mobile phone app if you're somewhere else, there's no mosque? Good question. Yes, but you have to be sure that the app is a trustworthy app. What we have seen, and for us to all have knowledge, many of these apps are owned by non-Muslims, and more specifically the Israelis. The Jews have a hand in many of these apps that are Quran apps or Adhan apps. They're not people to be trusted, but many of these apps, they're correct. So check your app with the Adhan of the mosque. If it is always correct, then you can follow your app. And better yet, you have eyes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. Look, has the sun set? break your fast. Has the sun set? Break your fast. That is even much better. Are you allowed to perform Hajj if you have a debt that you're paying? This is a question that we asked every year. Are you allowed to perform Hajj? Unaweza enda Hajj na kuna deni watu? Who says yes, you can perform Hajj and you have people's debt? Who says no, you cannot perform Hajj? You have to find a balance. Some debts are spread over a long period. Some debts you have to pay immediately. The right of that person is greater than your right to perform the Hajj. Pay off the debt of that person. But if you go and decide to perform your Hajj yet you have a debt, that does not mean that your Hajj is rejected. It does not mean that your Hajj is rejected. Maybe the reward has been reduced. So you're allowed to perform the Hajj, yet you have a debt. A mistake that many of us do in our times is the Muslims, or many of the Muslims, are no longer as trustworthy as before. There's no point of you taking my money, running away with my money. I call you 1,000 times, you don't pay my money. Then the day that you die, your family comes, asks me for forgiveness. Why? It is my right. I've given you money. You've come, you've asked me. And subhanAllah, some people come, they cry, they talk a lot of stories. The time you give them that money, you not see them again. So they say if you want to know the character of someone, travel with them, or live with them, or give them a debt. You give someone pesa ni kukosana. Heri usimpatie hata hiyo pesa. So be very careful with this issue of debt. The shaheed does not enter Jannah if he has a single debt left.